Place your bets up first, folks. DraftKings jumps on solid revenue outlook. What are we tracking here, Martin?
I'll tell you what, this company is now really finding its stride, isn't it, in the sports betting book. There's about 20 states now in which DraftKings can operate on a legal basis. Of course, there's all sorts of online betting as well. And they generated a really significant revenue jump over the fourth quarter, and that's without some of the more popular North American sporting events. And I'm talking about the Super Bowl because that, of course, happens in the first quarter. So I think investors were impressed by that. They were certainly impressed by what they expect to happen over the coming year. They see revenues in the region of around 2.9 to 3.1 billion US dollars with adjusted earnings along the way. This company is reaching maturity level, JD, and that's what investors like to see, particularly those who are managing money for pension funds and sort of more longer term investment. So DraftKings might be able to find its way into that conversation because it's solidified its position in a business that is now just part of the American culture.
All right, number 2, the judge threatens to jail Sam Bankman-Fried if he defies bail terms. What's up there?
I tell you what, Sam Bankman-Fried is trying to sort of thread the needle, as we've talked about on a lot of occasions, to construct his defense against the charges that he is facing with regards to defrauding investors and stealing money and commingling assets and all the rest of it. But the people who want to see him charged are saying that he's doing too many things with respect to using encrypted messaging tools, using virtual private networks, and trying to contact former FTX employees along the way, that he shouldn't be allowed to maintain his current bail conditions. Judge Lewis Kaplan was sort of minded to agree with that assessment in a hearing yesterday. He gave the two sides another week to come to terms with restrictions within that bail agreement. But he said if Bankman-Fried is still trying to talk to people through encrypted messaging, using virtual private networks and all the rest of it, this bail could be revoked very quickly, and the young man can find himself back in prison almost as quickly.
Yeah, he tried to say dude was using a VPN to watch the Super Bowl.
Right.
Right? I mean, that's
in California at his parents' house, apparently where there was no television. Right.
Yeah. Gotta watch the Kelsey brothers on a VPN. All right, different conversation for a different day. All right, third and finally here, let's talk Man U. Could this be, Martin, the world's most expensive sports deal?
It certainly could be. The previous record is held by Chelsea. It was purchased along with debt, assets and equity and all the rest of it for about 5.2 billion US dollars. Man U could go for significantly more than that. The bids are meant to be in today, and we're hearing reporting that they're going to come from Saudi Arabia. They're going to come from U.S. private equity firms. They're going to come from a British billionaire named Jim Ratcliffe, which is a name that a lot of U.S. Sort of viewers may not recognize, but he was a founder of a chemicals group called Ineos. It's hard to say who is going to come out victorious, but they're going to have pretty deep pockets. This is one of the most iconic footballing franchises in the entire world. They've won the Premier League 13 times. They have a trophy case that essentially just dwarfs everyone else in European football apart from Barcelona. So I would imagine the price tag could reach into the 7, possibly 8 billion US dollar range, and therefore ultimately end up being the most, the richest sporting transaction in history.